Thank you, Mr. Chairman and General Cotton. Good to see you. I enjoyed our discussion the other day. Let me follow up on some of the topics that we talked about. First, if confirmed, you will work closely with the U.S. Space Force, Missile Defense Agency, Northern Command to guarantee the security of our nation. And as you know, Alaska has a lot of critical assets that relate to missile defense. We're the cornerstone of missile defense, over 100 fifth-generation fighters, world-class training ranges. If confirmed, will you commit to visiting Alaska early in your tenure to see these assets meet with the troops that are so critical to our homeland defense that you see in Alaska?
Senator, absolutely.
Thank you. You know, we had a good discussion on basing. In May of 1992, the Strategic Air Command was essentially stood down, and many of our bomber bases around the country, around the world, were closed. We've been talking a lot about great power competition and how we need to be ready to confront two near-peer nuclear-capable adversaries with very large militaries. Given this reality, how should we be approaching the basing of our nuclear-capable bomber fleet, particularly when the B-21 Raider comes online and, again, in line of some of the issues you and I discussed the other day?
Senator, thank you. I think initially when we talk about main operating bases, I'm comfortable where we are. The conversation that we had is how do we disperse forces in the future, especially with two near peers. And our discussion, we talk about the agile combat employment construct that the Air Force with the Chief of Staff, General C.Q. Brown, is leading across the United States Air Force. I say it's a little different, what I call big wing airplanes, as opposed to our fighter forces, but the construct holds and works as well. I would love to be able to make sure that we have opportunities and availability throughout the country to add dilemma to our adversaries, if you will, on where our bomber forces are in the future.
Let me be a little more direct on that. As you know, Alaska is very strategically located, and staging options, rotational deployments, the ability to have not just fifth-gen fighters, but strategic global strike assets based in Alaska that are much closer to Russia, much closer to China. As you and I have discussed, a number of Air Force flag officers have seen this as a strategic concept that we can take advantage of, particularly with regard to great power competition. Do you have any thoughts on that, General, more specifically?
Well, I think the bases in Alaska act as great staging bases for bomber deployments, and I think that's the question that you're asking. The point of having a main operating base, if confirmed, as Commander Stratcom, I'd like to make that assessment to see what recommendations I would make to the service. But today, I think as we move forward, I think having it as a operating staging platform is critical for us. I mean, if you recall, we talked about even ensuring that we have right runway lengths, et cetera, moving forward.
Great, and I'm looking forward to working with you, and I look forward to supporting your confirmation. Let me talk about another topic we had the opportunity to discuss, and that's this idea of a strategic breakout as it relates to ICBM capability with regard to China. The current Stratcom Commander, Admiral Richard, called that the recent reports on how quickly China is developing strategic missile capabilities, ICBM capabilities, he called it breathtaking. In your estimation, what is the greatest concern regarding this strategic breakout, and how should we, as a Armed Services Committee, be focused on helping you counter or be ready for that very significant threat?
Thank you for that question. As recent as 2018, we would describe China as having a minimal deterrence, minimal nuclear deterrence. We would have probably had a conversation stating that it was about regional hegemony. Today, they're building ground-based ICBM silos. They have the H-6N, nuclear-capable medium bomber, that has strategic-capable launch platform.
And just real quick, General, not to interrupt, but to give some context that in April of 2021, commercial satellite imagery revealed 3 new nuclear missile fields in western China, each with approximately 120 missile silos. So this is incredible, is it not, in terms of the size?
It is. It is absolutely incredible, and in such a short time, to Admiral Richards' point.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.